Just an overview of how was the last, 2-3 weeks while you guys were stranded in Benghazi?
I wouldn't know where to start. Remember, like I indicated before, that the whole idea was for us to be there for 2 to 3 days. The idea was that the chairman had to pay into our accounts. We go to the foreign exchange, I would say, then withdraw the money, get it into dollars and pay the hotel and stuff like that. But with the hotel itself, we had cash that we were carrying, myself and Mr. Lomo, that we needed to pay for the hotel. That one was settled, there was no problem. So the issue was more on the flight tickets, that the flight tickets, the prices were not that clear, and most of that, I went to the hotel owner, because he's the one who bought the tickets, trying to understand when can we get an invoice and then send it to the president, to our chairman, so that he can make payments for that. So it was an issue of, I don't know what was the delay for, because every time you ask him, said no, I'll give it to you. You ask him, no, I'll give it to you. And remember, by the time he's busy saying I'll give it to you, it's a day plus. The days are going by. And one thing that started giving me some doubts is the fact that when we arrived at the hotel, he confiscated my passport. Remember, for any place, a hotel, they'll take your passport, make a copy and give it back to you, the original. But he kept it with him. So that started raising eyebrows for me, that no man, there's something which is not right here. Then the time we got the so-called invoice, it came as one figure, because an invoice must have a breakdown. Like, for instance, if you're talking about tickets, I bought so many tickets, you must have a unit price, which is one ticket is costing X amount, and then collective, because all in all it was 19 tickets, and say as a collective so many tickets will cost X amount. But if you come with an umbrella price and say this is all what the ticket costs, it becomes a problem. And for any person who needs to pay in the money, remember, you cannot just pay in the money without understanding what is it that I'm paying for. So that is where the problem was. Now, it came to a point where now, by asking the invoice, it started angering the guy. And now, what hurt the most was the fact that when he was being interviewed by the media in South Africa, he painted a picture that we are in a comfortable environment and we are happy to be where you are. How can you be happy when somebody has your passport, he doesn't want to give it back to you, and you ask him that, okay, do I owe you? He says no. Then why do you keep me here? Let me go. He says no, you're not going anywhere. And that on its own, in a foreign country, we understand history, guys. We know what Libya is like, and I wouldn't say they're bad people, but history taught us that it's not comfortable to be there. And the other thing is, for the duration of before the issues of money and all that, we had a point where before the team left, we used to go to, in our rooms, we used to have water to wash and stuff like that. Shortly after the team left, then for both me and Mr. Lomo, they closed hot water. We had only cold water for the duration of our stay, and the weather there was not comfortable. So if you can say to people and say, no, these guys are comfortable here and stuff like that, I'm here to tell you straight, it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't comfortable at all, and I wouldn't wish anybody to be in the same situation.
Maybe just as a follow-up, while you were there all those times that you were there, was there ever a time when you seriously felt that your life was in danger?
Well, I wouldn't say. Remember, what we did, I agreed with Mr. Lomo. What we did was, anything that needs to happen here now, let us not resist anything whatsoever. If they say, take a picture with me and smile, let's do that. Because I knew that they wanted to create a platform whereby they would force you to take a picture and take it to the South African media or on their Facebook pages, so that people may be under the impression that we are okay. So we had to play along. And the problem was that if you wouldn't, then the guy he's very temperamental. So sometimes he would come to you and ask you, did the chairman say anything about payment? Immediately you say no. Then you know for the day it's not going to be nice. You understand? So that on its own, and for the mere fact that somebody is refusing to give you your travel documents so that maybe at the near future you'll be leaving, that on its own now starts creating a lot of fear and a lot of questions. Why are you refusing?
Let's just ask, do you think that had anything to do with the normal shenanigans that happens in CAF football, where the club tries to make it as hard as possible for you guys to succeed, or was there something more cynical around it?
You know, I wouldn't associate it with the opponents like Akhdar. Remember, we went to that hotel not for the first time now. It's for a second visit that we went there. So the problem is now, when we went there at first, we had a almost similar situation where the guy inflated the prices of our stay there until we involved his father. Then his father came in and said, no, you cannot overcharge these people. Then we agreed to a price, we paid him with our first visit. So this is the second visit. You can see that I think it's a norm for him that every time we go, the prices must be inflated. Unfortunately, in this case, it affected us in the sense that something that was supposed to have happened in 2 days, it took us 21 days.
How was the actual? Were you eating? Were you held? We're imagining maybe you're in a cave, like I don't know.
No.
Were you? How were you kept on a human level? What were you eating? Changing clothing? What?
Yeah. No. We were in a hotel, yes, but remember the condition was different in the sense that you don't have your freedom. So that on its own, it took a toll on us. Like, believe you me, it took me 9 solid days without sleeping. And we arrived here in South Africa last night on its own. I think I still have that problem because even yesterday I couldn't sleep. Up to now, I'm still awake.
Wait, but the club, has it offered any sort of help?
Yes. We spoke to the chairman. Actually, the chairman, when we arrived here, said no, he's arranged some form of professional help. Hence that we've been laid off now, but we shouldn't be engaging too much into the football matters, so that until we get professional help. And we'd like to thank the chairman for that. I mean, that's been very considerate. So we're hoping that after getting professional help, things will be back to normal. We know it's not going to be an overnight thing, but it's bound to happen.
And your families, how did they respond to all of this?
It's the same thing. Remember, and for them, I mean, they've never been to Libya before. They only rely on Google, where they Google pictures of Libya, they see buildings which are destroyed and all that. They always think that, no, this is it.
Just on the hostility, Rufus, you mentioned the hot water being turned off.
Yeah.
Food-wise,